everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. We are going to make today Malai Kofta. So I'm just going to tell you a very easy recipe, and I'm sure you won't be able to tell any difference from all the restaurant foods you have ever had. So to make Malai Kofta, it's actually two parts. We have to make the koftas. Koftas are basically dumplings which are made from potatoes, mashed boiled potatoes and paneer, and also we'll have to make a gravy. So we will start off by making the dumplings first, and then we will fry them in oil, and at the same time we'll start making the gravy as well. So let's just mix our ingredients for the koftas. So I have taken 1 cup of boiled potatoes. Make sure they are really soft and they can be easily mashed. We don't want any lumps or granules into the koftas. Next, I've taken 1 cup equal amount quantity of paneer, and I've just crushed it. You can grate it as well if you want. In goes some coriander leaves and ginger, which has been grated. This is about 1/2 inch of ginger. Next goes 1.5 tablespoons of corn flour. This is just act as a binding agent. Some salt to taste. I'm just putting 1.5 teaspoons, and I'm also putting some white peppercorns, about 1/2 teaspoon. Alright, so I'm just going to mix these nicely with my hands. So actually when you're mixing it, make sure that it's quite smooth. There's no lumps because we want the koftas to be really smooth. I'm just going to put some chopped dry nuts as a filling, which is absolutely optional. If you think it's sticking too much to your hands, you can just apply a little bit of refined oil to help them take a nice shape. So this is what it looks like after all the mixing up. So make sure that you don't take very big balls, because obviously they're going to swell up after they are dipped into the gravy. So I'm just taking a nice ball, roll it nicely, press it, put the stuffing in if you want. And as I said, it's entirely optional. If you don't want to put that, you can just skip it, and then nicely make a ball over. You can also make them into different shapes, like a cylinder shape if you want. So it's actually, I'm just gonna make a bit of cylinder. So this is how it should look like. So similarly, I'm just going to make more koftas of the rest of my mixture. Just put a drop of oil on your hands if it is sticking. So I've made all the koftas. You can see it's actually yielded about 15 koftas. I mean, if you're trying with the smaller size, you can have more koftas as well. So we are going to fry them in the oil, and in the same time we're going to start making the gravy as well. So we're going in a pan. I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of desi ghee. Once it starts to get hot, I'm going to put my whole spices, which is like 1 cinnamon stick, 1 black cardamom, 4 green cardamoms, some shahi jeera, about 1 teaspoon, and some cloves. So they are crackling now. Next goes our onions. This is about 1 cup of onions. So the important thing is not to make the onions brown. We just need to soften them for 2 to 3 minutes and just make them translucent and soft. Okay, so next goes, you can put green chilies, but I'm just avoiding those. So next goes ginger garlic. This is about 1 inch of ginger and about 8 to 10 cloves of garlic. We just need to cook these to make sure that they're not smelling raw, but we don't want to brown these. Just a pinch of turmeric. This is just to give a good color. About 1.5 teaspoon of Kashmiri red chilli powder, a pinch of garam masala, and 1/4 teaspoon of cumin powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of coriander powder. This is a bit of milder gravy, so we don't want to have very overwhelming taste of all the spices. But obviously these are all guided by your taste as well. It was about 2 cups of tomatoes. Give it a nice mix. And this is about 1/2 cup of cashews. If you don't want to put nuts, you can avoid the nuts, but I think it just gives a very creamy texture to the gravy. So we're just gonna cook this till the tomatoes are a bit mushy and soft. So our tomatoes has been cooking for about 5 minutes now, and they're a bit soft and mushy. 2.5 cups of water roughly. And let it cook on a slow flame for the next 15 to 20 minutes. And then we're going to puree the gravy. So we'll just cover it with lid and lower our heat. And let it cook for another 15 to 20 minutes, and just make sure that you keep stirring in between. And while this is cooking, we are going to go and fry our koftas next. Only going to fry these on a very medium heat, and make sure that you have enough oil just so that you can fully immerse the koftas into it. And I think the trick of frying the koftas is always try with one. I'm just going to put one kofta in gently and see how it turns out, and make sure that you just splash the hot oil on top of it so that it gets burned from all the sides. If you fry these in a very hot oil, it's just going to make them brown very quickly from outside, but they won't be cooked inside. So we want them to cook evenly. So this is a version of a savory gulab jamun. So you make sure that this is the same consistency. So while we're frying, I think my gravy's been cooking for about 15 minutes now. And I think I'm just going to turn this off. And we let it cool and then we will blend it in the blender. I'm finished frying the koftas, so I'm just going to start prepping, complete my gravy. So make sure that you take out all the whole spices, especially the bigger ones if you could see them, before you put it in the blender, because we don't want the gravy to turn brown in color. We want it to stay very bright orange if possible. So I'm just going to take out all the dry spices if I could, and then transfer it into a blender and make it a smooth paste. Blend it now. I've taken the same pan again. I'm just gonna put a bit of oil, about a teaspoon of oil, and a half teaspoon of Kashmiri red chilli powder. This is just to give it a nice sheen and color on the gravy. So I'm just going to take a strainer and put this gravy through a strainer just to make sure that it's quite smooth. Consistency is quite right. We don't want it to be very thick or very watery. I think this is just the right consistency that we want. Okay, next goes about 2 tablespoons of double cream. You will need some for garnishing as well. To add about 1.5 teaspoons of salt, some crushed Kasoori methi leaves. It's about 1 tablespoon. 1 teaspoon of honey. You can use sugar as well. We'll let this cook for another 2 to 3 minutes, and that should be it. Then we're ready for serving this dish. Some half a teaspoon of hot red chili powder. When you're serving this Malai Kofta, never dip the kofta into the gravy because they're going to get really soft and soggy. So it's only you plate them when you're ready to serve it. So you just put the koftas in and then you just pour the gravy on the sides. I hope you liked today's recipe. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel and keep watching my videos. Please write in the comment box how it turned out and if you have any suggestions for what I should be making next. See you next time. Thank you very much. Bye bye.